All right, you're right on time for Hope TV Newswatch on this 6th day of August 2024. A very good evening to you wherever you're watching us from, and welcome to the broadcast. My name is Kennedy Kimani, and signing for us tonight is Boniface Murithi. Now, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition, a joint parliamentary group, has endorsed 2 members from ODM party for parliamentary leadership positions. According to ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, Suna East Member of Parliament Junet Mohammed has been endorsed as the minority leader, with Suba North MP Millie Odhiambo endorsed as the whip in the National Assembly. Saboti MP Caleb Bamisi will take up the role of the chair of Public Accounts Committee, as Funyula MP Wilberforce Oundo takes up the seat of the vice chair.
Kiliwakilishwa katika mkutano huu. Naibu kiongozi wa walio wachache Mheshimiwa Robert Mbui alikuwa pale kutoka bunge la kitaifa. Mheshimiwa Enoch Wambua ambaye ni seneta wa Kitui na ndiye naibu wa kiongozi wa walio wachache ndani ya bunge la Senate alikuwepo, na wabunge wengi wa Wiper.
Out of those 4 positions that are vacant, we would like the party leadership to consider to give one of those positions to a woman. We are all aligned, and we are saying that the woman that we are putting forward to represent the women of Kenya, to represent the women of Azimio, to represent the women of ODM is Her Excellency Madam Gladys Nyasuna Wanga.
Hizo viti za Central Committee, mojawapo mama sasa apewe nafasi ya kufanyia kazi chama. Na tunajua ya kwamba huyu ni mama amejitolea muhanga, si tu katika kaunti yake ya Homa Bay, bali pia kwa kazi ya chama ameifanya.
Now, the High Court has stopped the arrest of 2 city legislators, James Gakuye and Major Donk, over the funding of the Gen Z protest, pending the hearing of a case in which they have filed. Justice Chacha Mwita issued the orders after the 2 MPs who had been grilled by the DCI detectives moved to court through their lawyers Dansan Omari and Shadrach Wamboi. In the application, the 2 who represent Embakasi North and Embakasi Central constituencies told the court that their constitutional rights will be violated.
Now, subsequent to the events of the 25th day of June 2024, we have seen a number of protests on every Thursday and Friday that is attributed to the youths who've been calling out accountability from the government and transparency from the same government, led by His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya. But again, we have seen a lot of confusion from the government, as the government has been trying to clutch on straws, wondering and being lost as to who has been sponsoring these protests or demonstrations or anti-government protests. Now, as late as the 31st day of August 2024, our clients, Honorable James Mwangi Gakuya and Honorable Benjamin Gadhiru, aka Major Donk, of Embakasi Central, were summoned at the DCI headquarters over allegations that they have been sponsoring the anti-government protests that we've been witnessing for the past 1 month and counting. Now, of particular interest is that the DCI in his wisdom thought that this honorable gentleman representing Embakasi North, this is Bazenga, aka Mwangi James Gakuya, and Major Donk of Embakasi Central, they were said to be sponsoring this anti-government protest and, to have nexus, some connection with the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. And for that reason, the government was questioning them. On the 31st day of August, the government went ahead to even harass them by asking them unending questions, trying to create a nexus between the protest and their leadership. Now, through instructions that we received from them, we filed a petition before my Lord Justice Mwita. And my Lord Justice Mwita, upon being confronted with the facts that there has been allegations and there is an attempt emanating from the office of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations.
Now, as the University of
after
Nairobi
Professor Margaret Chesang accepted,
the university's academic staff union has strongly condemned the occurrences surrounding the removal of Professor Stephen Kiama as the university vice chancellor, saying there is need to follow due process in his removal. The union has also issued a 7-day notice to proceed with industrial action if the leadership wrangles, among other demands, are not properly addressed. Our reporter Sami Adika with more.
A day after Professor Margaret Chesang accepted appointment as the University of Nairobi acting vice-chancellor to replace the embattled Professor Stephen Kiama.
To commit myself to giving the best service that I can, God enabling me, that we together can deliver excellence for this university and make sure that we maintain and celebrate the legacies of those who have gone before us.
University Academic Staff Union UASU UON chapter, led by its Secretary General Maloba Wekesa, has accused the university's council of meddling with the institution's top leadership.
Humiliating a full professor at the university in the precincts of the university itself is wrong. It's unwarranted and it's very demeaning. We are urging the University Council, take all the evidence you have, because we've just heard that, I don't know, he has 20 billion missing or something like that. Take all that evidence to the investigative arms of the government.
UASU says the leadership instability is greatly affecting its staff, as there has been instances of delay in salary disbursement.
Once labor is served, salaries are paid. It is not a favor, nor does it depend on the magnanimity of anyone, let alone the council. The delay in disbursing the July salaries to the staff of the University of Nairobi is actually a result of the University Council not getting its act together.
The leaders now want the Ruto-led government to intervene and ensure the wrangles are fully resolved.
We are now calling again on the government to intervene with urgency. Let the leadership rise away from the squabbles that we are seeing.
Highlighting a number of issues affecting its members at the University of Nairobi, the leaders have threatened to take industrial action if their demands are not addressed in 7 days.
The University Council needs to act on the demands we are asking, failure of which we will go back to our members and ask them to shelve their labor. That is the due process of the law. And we are saying this in the presence of the National Secretary General, who is in agreement.
With Professor Margaret Chesang having taken over Professor Stephen Kiama's office in an acting capacity, will her leadership end wrangles and leadership instability witnessed for a while now in the oldest institution of higher learning in the country and provide a good working environment for its staff? Or will it worsen the situation well known to those at the helm of the institution's top leadership?
Solidarity forever.
For Newswatch, I'm Sami Adika.
Makes us strong.
Thank you so much, Adika, for that report. Moving on swiftly, and Public Health and Professional Standards Principal Secretary Mary Modoni has confirmed the government's intent to bring back an enhanced version of Linda Mama under the same name with enhanced benefits to expectant mothers. PS Modoni says the program will be one of the pillars of the Social Health Insurance Fund that will specifically cater to expectant mothers under its budget. Alice Diana with more.
Following public outcry over the alleged scrapping of free maternal health care program dubbed Linda Mama, which was launched by First Lady Margaret Kenyatta during the Jubilee administration, the Ministry of Health has confirmed Linda Mama incorporation into Social Health Insurance Fund's SHIF, enhancing benefits for expectant mothers. Linda Mama, an initiative that was funded by the government of Kenya, was part of Enhanced National Health Insurance Fund NHIF, to curb maternal and infant mortality. According to Public Health and Professional Standards PS Mary Modoni, the free maternal health care program will be reintroduced under the same name with enhanced benefits to expectant mothers. Modoni said the move is in response to calls from Kenyans.
Yes, I want to confirm it's coming back, bigger and better, because we are a listening government. We are a listening ministry. We hear. And what we go to is public participation. When people tell us this is what we want, then it is packaged together. So Linda Mama is coming back, and I want to confirm.
The government says Linda Mama will be one of the pillars of the Social Health Insurance Fund that will specifically cater to expectant mothers under its own budget, with enhanced benefits that will see members not go back into their pockets for anything needed, whether it will be a normal delivery or a cesarean delivery.
The benefit package for Linda Mama will be bigger and better. By the mere virtue that the reimbursement of Linda Mama used to be only 4,000 shillings, both for cesarean and the normal delivery. But right now what we are saying is, if you go for normal delivery, it is double. In fact, almost triple, because it is 11,000. And when you go for cesarean, it is going to be a whopping 32,000. And these are some of the benefits that we need to look into.
According to PS Mudhoni, already some monies have been set aside for the enhanced program with a view to seeking more funding as the budget-making process kicks off afresh.
NHIF is extended on and until when SHIF is going to roll out. So we have not stopped Linda Mama. In fact, this year alone, we have injected 2.3 billion shillings for Linda Mama program. And out of this, it's going to take care of the mothers who are pregnant. And it should not be a challenge going to the health facility to deliver. Secondly, the packages for Linda Mama are going to cover prenatal care, normal delivery, cesarean delivery, and newborn care. So it's all encompassed together. And as I have said, the funds that are going to be reimbursed for the health facilities are actually more. So this is enhanced. It is an enhanced program, an enhanced Linda Mama. And that is the confidence that the women and ladies out there should have.
Currently, the PS notes there is an ongoing public participation where Kenyans are requested to give more suggestions on how they would want the new Linda Mama to contain. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta introduced the initiative during his reign in a bid to improve access and quality of maternal, newborn and child healthcare services towards the attainment of Kenya's Vision 2030 and Sustainable Development Agenda. Alice Diana Hope, TV Newswatch.
Thank you so much, Alice, for that report. Now, National Defence University of Kenya is hosting the Senior Professional Military Education Commandants Forum led by Vice-Chancellor James Mutai. This three-day event is dedicated to addressing the pressing security challenges of our time. The forum aims to equip leaders with the skills to tackle both traditional and emerging security threats confidently.
Ladies and gentlemen, this conference is a landmark event in our collective efforts to shape our military leadership to address the various security challenges we face today. Similarly, Africa's security landscape is multifaceted, characterized by threats such as terrorism, insurgencies, cyber threats, and regional conflicts. Our ability to address these issues hinges on the quality of our military education, which should ensure that our leaders are not only aware of these threats, but are also equipped with the strategies to counter them effectively. So the aim is to develop leaders who can navigate the complexities of modern warfare and security environments with competence and confidence.
Well, it is exactly 15 minutes past the top of the hour. Time now for a short break, but we still have much more, so see you on the other side.
Rafikin soul is the promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond what angaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful enough. ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru, ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki soul is a promise of our hand that reaches and goes beyond. Watangaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru, ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru, ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki msoul.
Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive.
Interesting story is John Mwangi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for the honor, Wavinya. I'm glad to be here today.
So this expensive lesson that you've come to share with us, what did it cost you?
Wow. This lesson cost me my freedom for 4 years and 23 days.
Today we're hearing about a lesson that cost someone their freedom. 4 years and 23 days. You don't want to miss this.
Welcome back. You're watching Hope TV Newswatch. Now, approximately 12 million children in the country face climate and disaster risks ranging from moderate to very high levels. 1.3 million are at a risk of floods, while 30 million remain vulnerable to malaria. This is as per a report released during the launch of the Children's Climate and Disaster Risk Model led by Principal Secretary for the State Department for Environment and Climate Change, Dr. Festus Ngeno. Ian Githuku with more on this.
The Principal Secretary for the State Department of Environment and Climate Change, Dr. Festus Ngeno, today launched the Children's Climate and Disaster Risk Model, which included a report highlighting the adverse impacts of climate change on children. The report is set to be available online via the Ministry of Environment's website, showcasing each region in Kenya and how its children are being affected. According to the report, approximately 12 million children in Kenya face climate and disaster risks ranging from moderate to very high levels. 1.3 million are at risk of floods, while 13 million remain vulnerable to malaria. Recognizing these adverse impacts, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry has for the first time included a strategic objective on youth and children in the third National Climate Change Action Plan to help in identifying the majorly affected areas and reducing the risk of climate change to children.
Despite these alarming statistics, only a small fraction of less than 24% of the global climate financing is directed towards children-centered interventions, as reported by UNICEF, and that is why the entire story of climate financing, say the financial aspect that the president has been pushing, is all what we are looking at it. So no wonder even the statistics, even the little that we receive on climate financing, less goes to children, and that is important for us to highlight and see how we can be able to help in terms of pushing more resources to it.
Speaking on behalf of UNICEF in Kenya, Mrs. Shaheen Nilofer spoke about UNICEF's partnership with the Kenyan government to ensure the risks that come with climate change, especially to children, are minimized. She called upon stakeholders and partners to work together with the ministry in setting aside corresponding climate financing that will act as a resource in protecting children affected by the adverse climate changes in Kenya.
So the counties and the policy makers and the ministries and the state departments, including Ministry of Education, Health, Labour Protection, and all of these interministerial department coordination, NDMA, and others, including development partners, be able to set aside what we are calling for action is corresponding climate financing for children the financing that should be used for children. And as we heard the principal secretary speaking about how difficult it is to mobilize resources, and it's all the more difficult to mobilize resources for children. And this is about bringing the visibility of the impacts of the climate change on the children. And we have seen that the CCDRM report highlights the various indicators that showcases and reveals how children are impacted. And as you see from the map in the report, that talks about 7 very extensively highly vulnerable counties that has, that clearly shows how children are being impacted. There are 4 which are high-risk counties as well. And if you map out all of these disasters, including drought and flood that you've seen, and including the public health epidemics like measles and diarrhea and cholera and now polio, including in the informal settlements, that you've seen that these are indexes which showcases how children are impacted and how the health services, education, because when floods happens, the children are out of school, most of the infrastructures are washed away.
As a voice of the children, young Ambassador Karen Kimani, who is the CEO of the Karen Ford Foundation, highlighted how children in the northeastern region of Kenya have experienced severe drought, while expressing her sadness due to the death of children caused by the Mai Mahiu floods. She, however, commended the government in their recent efforts to highlight the mainly affected areas by climate change and find a lasting solution to them.
And the children in Turkana, the droughts come, they are affected. Speaking of floods, this year we witnessed floods over the country. We were not prepared. Who were affected? The children were affected. We dropped out of schools. Children in Mai Mahiu died because of the floods. Houses were washed and the animals were also carried away by the water. Were we prepared? No, we were not. We could have harvested that rainwater so that when we are having those droughts, we have enough water to grow our food crops.
For Hope TV Newswatch, my name is Ian Gethuku.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Ian, for that report. Now, the Catholic Schools Principals Association Conference kicked off on Tuesday, bringing together educational leaders from across Kenya for 3 days of intense discussions and workshops. Hosted by the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, Commission for Education and Religious Education, the conference aims to address key issues in educational governance and leadership, with a strong emphasis on integrating faith and academic excellence, as Mombi Wawero now reports.
In life, and this I want to wrap up it here. In life, your struggle is to lift that EQ from under you to come to the surface.
The conference was officially inaugurated on this morning by Reverend Simon Peter Kanyomoe, the Auxiliary Bishop of the Catholic Archdiocese of Nairobi, who highlighted the importance of faith-based leadership in education institutions. The event also saw addresses from Reverend Mark Kadima, Chairman of the KCCB Commission for Education and Religious Education, the Reverend Joseph of the Catholic Diocese of Kitui, officials from the Ministry of Education and Teachers Service Commission also emphasized the critical role of education in shaping future generations and the necessity of aligning educational goals with national development objectives.
So that when I see you, I am seeing the whole of you in terms of trustworthiness, in terms of distinction, in terms of commitment. So you try and lift this up. Let your students know that you also cry.
Speaking at the conference, Professor Laban Ayiro delivered a compelling speech on the governance of educational institutions. He emphasized that effective leadership is built on a distinct brand characterized by consistency and excellence that honors God and encourages human development. Ayiro called on principals to implement clear policies aligned with Christian values, maintain diverse and competent boards, and engage in strategic planning.
Let your students know that if they don't do well, they are endangering your position as a principal. Don't say I don't care, because you care.
He also tackled the crucial issue of resource management, urging principals to practice the effective and equitable data-driven management and to conduct constant evaluations of all aspects of school operations. His insights on integrating faith and academics aimed to promote holistic growth, including spiritual, emotional, and intellectual development.
ladies and gentlemen, I have come to worship this thing called EQ. When I had issues at Moore University, it wasn't my IQ. My IQ told me, go to court. You know, go to court. You've seen people going to court to say I'm being unfairly removed, what. But my EQ told me, vengeance is not mine.
The conference sessions focused on various aspects of educational leadership, including enhancing academic performance, strategic planning, and the integration of faith in education. Principals were encouraged to focus on character formation and fostering a culture of collaboration and mentorship among staff and students. The school principals were urged to create a collaborative environment where school leaders can share best practices and innovative approaches to overcoming challenges in education, ensuring that their institutions not only excel academically but also nurture well-rounded individuals. Mumbi Waweru, Hope TV, Newswatch.
Thank you so much, Mombi, for that report. Now, crossing borders, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has chosen Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to serve as a running mate in the 2024 presidential race, as Harris tries to gain ground on former President Donald Trump with just over 3 months until the November election. Walz's first reign for office in 2006 in a Republican-leaning congressional district, upsetting the incumbent. He kept the seat until he won the Minnesota governorship in 2018, then again in 2022. Let's get down to business now, and the Kenyan-based automaker Mobius Motors has, backed by Playfair Capital, has entered a voluntary liquidation after nearly a year of rescue efforts failed. The company has reportedly struggled to settle suppliers and pay salaries as debts from its operations increased. Founded in 2009 by Joel Jackson, a British national, while working in Kenya, Mobius pioneered a stripped-down SUV model built for African roads in 2014. The first model costed $10,000, significantly lower than the market prices of standard SUVs in Kenya. The startup built 50 units of its first model. It released Mobius 2 and Mobius 3 in 2018 and 2021 respectively as successors of the first model, but failed to capture the Kenyan car market, flooded with second-hand imports from the UK, Japan, and other Asian countries. And to some sporting action now. Beatrice Chebet gave Kenya her first gold medal at the Paris Olympics in the women's 5,000 meters after she sprinted home to win a dramatic race, which saw Faith Kipyegon disqualified, but then later on reinstated. The 24-year-old produced a thrilling finish to cross the line in 14 minutes and 28.56 seconds ahead of compatriot Kipyegon. The reigning world champion was quickly stripped of her silver medal obstruction during a clash with Gudaf's Gay. Kipyegon was, however, reinstated in second place following a successful Kenyan appeal to the World Athletics. Now, former world champion Julius Yego marked a stunning 85.97 meters, which is the season best, to qualify for the men's javelin throw final of the Paris 2024 Olympics. The 2016 silver medalist hit past the qualification mark of 84.00 meters in the third attempt to punch the automatic qualification to the final set for Thursday this week. Yego drew 78.84 in the first attempt, then improved it to 80.75 before sealing the final slot with 85.97 meters. Well, with that, we come to the end of our news tonight. Many thanks to you for making time to watch Hope TV Newswatch. We really do appreciate the value of your time. On behalf of the amazing team that made this bulletin a success, have yourselves a blessed night. My name, as always, is Kimani, and Boniface Murithi has been signing for us.